When the rapids were over and no waterfalls were left, they returned to the river very tired and bereft. It was there in the distance that they saw their next affront. Yes, the vast Rocky Mountains they would soon have to confront. They were told the Shoshones were the Indians defined. Zakaga tribe that she had left behind. They would give them the horses that would carry all their stuff, 'cause ascending the Rocky Mountain range would be enough. There in the wilderness, they finally found a noble ride. They felt such happiness, but none more than their guide. Chicago felt delighted disbelief when she found that her brother had become the chief. She tried to contain herself and translate all they said, but at times she would cry with joy and hug the chief instead. Horses were traded for clothing, guns, and many knives. Traveling with the corps, the horses saved their lives. And you know what was next, Mel? Onward through the Rocky Mountains. Hard to imagine anyone actually crossing the Rockies on foot. Now, the Native Americans had crossed the Rockies many times. As Lewis wrote in his journal, I feel perfectly satisfied that if the Indians could pass these mountains with their women and children, then we could do so as well. Oh. Wait a minute, let me get a foothold here. But you're standing on my head! Oh, it's the only hard thing around that'll give me the support that I need to... Whoa! With the horses from the Shoshones and directions from their guide, they ascended the Rockies on a most ambitious ride. When they came to the bitter roots on the continental divide, there were steep cliffs and narrow chutes. It's amazing they survived. The horses kept tripping and temperatures dipping the more that they rose. It was sleeting and snowing, and as it was slowing, they all nearly froze. All their food depleted, they had no more resource. Their spirits so defeated, they had to eat a horse. Yeah, they ate one of their horses? Along with candles, bear oil, and that awful dehydrated soup. What did they do then? They kept climbing to the highest point in the Rockies. Keep going, Lewis! You can do it! I don't know, Clark, the air. It's just so good up here. I can hardly breathe. Look, Lewis! We made it! We're at the top of the mountain! Look, down there, the Bitterroot Valley. Come on, Clark. It's all downhill from here. In all, it would take the Corps 53 days to cross the Rockies. Of course, after all that time, Lewis found out there was another way through the mountains. That would have taken them only 4 days. Lewis kept this information to himself so as not to disappoint the Corps. When they finally descended, that luck didn't tend to remain very high. They went to find meat or whatever to eat, but they all came up dry. Standing near a creek, they called it Hungary. Everyone so weak, but then, what did they see? Wait, Lewis, look! What is it? Down there in the valley, a tribe of Indians. Oh, let's hope they're as friendly as most of the other tribes we've met. We're too desperate to worry about that. As it turned out, they didn't have to worry because the Indians were the very friendly Nez Perce. Nez Perce? Well, that's French for pierced nose. That's right. Most of the Nez Perce had pierced noses. And later, they encountered the Wampum Indians. They were one of the Flathead tribe. Hey, no fair calling them names. No, they really had flat heads. Now you see, they would press their babies' heads between 2 boards, so they were permanently flattened. Well, why would they do that? Well, they thought it made themselves look more beautiful that way. In fact, many of the Western tribes distorted their bodies for beauty's sake. Tattoos, binding feet until they swelled, and putting all sorts of things like seashells through their pierced noses.
Well, leave it up to the trendy people on the West Coast to think up gnarly things like that, dude.
And then one day the Corps came across Native Americans wearing sailors' jackets, and they knew they must be close to their destination.
And then, on November 18th, 1805,
1 year, 6 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days after the start of their journey,
Lewis and Clark finally reached their destination. Without a fanfare, there seemed to come from nowhere a vision that touched each traveler's soul. There in the distance, after much persistence, 4,000 miles they had gone to see the sight they counted on, the ocean that had been their ardent goal. The Pacific, like the vastness of their dreams, how terrific! All their struggle it redeems, through rocks and storms and so much more. The waters join to reach the shore and greet the travelers with a rousing cheer. The core of discovery is here. Where are you going? Onward to harbor and finale. It was Clark, it was Lewis, and many more that knew us, and all the friendly native tribes we had. William and Meriwether brought the war together to reach the goal that Jefferson had set. Captain Clark, your handiwork, if you please, sir. Ah, yes, starting out in St. Charles, Missouri, up that muddy Missouri River. On in the Great Plains, prairie dogs buffalo by the thousands. Oh, the Eagle Bitterroot Mountains. And finally, Fort Clatsop and the Pacific Ocean. They extended the commerce of our nation. They explored all of the land maps that show